step forward.
Welcome back to the Then and Now podcast, greatest podcast in the world, multiverse, and all of those great things. We are back. We have the crew, Then and Now podcast. Me, C Diesel, Charlie Wilson, King of the Comics, Ethan Murphy on the bottom, and my boy Lelouch V, Otis East to the left of me. How you doing, my brothers?
I'm good. Now, I actually have a question about your intro. So, like, in the multiverse, is it the same world on every planet, or is it like which ones are we still the best one podcast on?
We're Nexus beings. We're the dopest shit in the same in every universe.
Got you.
We're the same in every being. Okay, all right.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little disappointing. I wish there was somebody different. If I could be somebody different, I want to be.
No, you are the apex predator in all universes. You were the realest form of you could possibly be.
Okay, all right.
Ain't nobody doper.
Fair enough.
Thank you guys for tuning in. So today we have a lot of dope shit to talk about. We're going to be getting into The Boys. We're going to be discussing Stranger Things briefly, as well as going into one of our special guests that we have on today. Otis, I'll let you go ahead and introduce him.
All right. So joining us today, I've got a friend that I made at the recent event I went to for Blurred Bash. Shout out to Hip Hop Anime Gaming, HAG. I want to introduce Daryl Damper, creator of High Top. Bring him on.
Woo!
How you guys doing?
Daryl, how you feeling, man? How you doing?
All is well. How you guys doing, man? Glad to be on the show.
Right on.
Feeling splendiferous.
Before we get going, real quick, Daryl, if you could tell us how you are awake, knowing that you have, you said you have 17 kids and going.
I think you said 200.
A lot of energy drinks and patience.
Good man.
Yeah, but first things first. Can you tell us about your comic? Give a quick synopsis to the viewers here.
Yeah. So my comic High Top is about Anthony Shaviv. He inherits his grandfather's gauntlets unexpectedly, and with that comes the power of. He's 20 years old, so basically he gets these powers, and he's like, "What should I do with this power? Should I be a vigilante? Should I be a full-blown superhero? Should I just hang the gauntlets up in the closet and not expose myself to the world?" And so that's issue 1. By the time you get to issue 3, he's fully adopted the superhero persona, and he's using the gauntlets to try to clean up his neighborhood. And when the gauntlets come the Sons of the Cross, they are hunting him for the gauntlets because they are religious collectors, and the gauntlets are religious artifacts. So they're hunting him to use their powers to try to take over the world. So it gets more interesting the more you read. So he's like, okay, I got these gauntlets. What should I do? Kind of issue 3, he's kind of forced into the superhero role. And so now with that, the Sons of the Cross are on his tail and they're hunting him. And now he's like, now I have to use his gauntlets pretty much. So it's a good read if you guys check it out.
Check that out. That sounds dope. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I read the first 2 issues while we were still sitting in the event actually. So did you first question, did you always know that you wanted to make a comic, or how did you get to the path of making High Top? How did that start for you?
Well, I always knew I wanted to do something with illustration ever since I was probably maybe 9 or 10. So that was a while back. But yeah, so as far as comics, I didn't really foresee comics in my future. There's more freelance drawing. This, hey, you want me to draw your picture? You want me to draw a Tweety Bird, or you want me to draw some cartoon? And then later on down the line, my wife was like, well, you can draw. What are you doing with it? So this was about 4 years ago. So I was like, I can go to school. So I went to school, did something with that. And then for my final, for our project, our teacher was like, make a comic book cover. I never drew one before. That's when I came up with High Top. But the story changed by then. So the teacher really liked the final that I did. He's like, well, you should save this character and do something with it. So at the time, I actually wanted to call him Carl Weathers. And I didn't, I forgot that Carl Weathers was, the guy from Predator and Rocky. So I can't use that name. So it sounded like a cool name, High Top Carl Weathers. So I was like, hold on, wait a minute. The name does sound familiar. So I looked it up. I was like, oh, yeah, that's a guy from Predator and from Rocky. So I can't use the name. So changed up the story a little bit, changed up the villain. So took me about, I want to say 6 months to a year to revise the story, get everything situated. And then my wife was like, okay, now you got everything. So let's put it together. And then she helped me design the costume for High Top. And here we are. And that was last year, May. And I got it published finally in June of 2021. So
Congrats.
So you wrote and created the entire thing, right? Like you
yes,
almost like
issue
draw the sketch
3.
it out.
Yes, I wrote, edited, illustrated everything, did the story myself. Issue 3, I actually met, which is a funny story itself. I was going to the UPS store. I didn't want to go that day because my wife had some furniture she needed to pick up. So I go to not a UPS, sorry, U-Haul, and I was like, I don't feel like going today. And then so I ended up going. I actually met a guy, one of the U-Haul workers, just in there just sketching at the desk. I was like, oh, you draw? And I was like, well, I make my comics. He was like, are you interested in comics and everything like that? He was like, yeah. So his name was Cedric, and he gave me his number. We exchanged infos, and then later on that day, he showed me some sketches of High Top. He drew like that, like within like 10 minutes. I was like, oh man, I gotta get you on board. He showed me his character named Merciless, and then he actually illustrated the cover, and he did some materials for issue 3, and then we've been, collabing ever since. So he got his own comic book now called Merciless, which his character is set in Chicago. So it's pretty dope.
Right on.
And that was like a chance meeting because, like I said, I wasn't even going to go to U-Haul that day. I just happened to go, and he was there just sketching at the desk and everything. So it was a pretty cool meeting with that.
That's dope,
awesome.
man.
Awesome. Aside from Apollo Creed himself, were there any influences on your story or your storytelling? I mean, because it reminds me a lot of. I'm a huge Indiana Jones fan, and hearing some of that kind of reminds me a little bit of Indiana Jones. Was there anything?
It's as far as the religious artifacts, yes, with the collecting them, the Sons of the Cross, because their intent is to take the religious artifacts and use their powers for nefarious reasons, but they're under the guise of, okay, we're here, with the church collecting these artifacts, kind of like the Vatican, storing them away, but they're actually taking them and using their powers and controlling the powers. Right now, the Sons of the Cross leader, Winston Wells, he's actually has King David's shield, and he's using that, so he's pretty much untouchable because he has the shield. And as far as influence, have you guys seen the Watchmen HBO series?
Oh, of course.
Oh, I love it.
Okay, so basically the Sons of the Cross is KKK ramped up times 100, but instead of using KKK members with the white people, with the soldiers, they're actually kidnapping black boys and Hispanic boys, and they're using them to carry out their deeds and everything, like inciting inside gang wars, gang violence, and stuff like that. So they're using them to stir up the pot, as you were saying.
Morality there, huh?
Yeah, like RUFs in Africa and whatnot. Yeah, kids. Right on.
So that's what's going on with. So when you see the covers and a lot of the Sons of the Cross, you see them. They got the mask on, and so they're brainwashed kids behind those masks, and they don't know what's going on. Like they're actually behind a lot of political assassinations that's been going on around in the comic book universe. The Sons of the Cross are behind it. So,
it's awesome.
Quick question I have about just your being a creator in general. Did you have any second thoughts or just concerns about just putting your content out there for people just to critique and see how they will?
Oh yes, every single day until I press that publish button and actually sent it to the printer. Even with that, I've gotten positive feedback, negative feedback. I took it all in because I actually published it with I sent it. I don't know if you guys heard of Black Sands.
Of course.
I sent issue 1 and issue 2 to Black Sands just to have it on the site Discord to get notary, and a lot of people were ripping me. So on the Black Sands, it's with the artist this, it does, I don't like this style, blah blah. So I took a lot of that negativity, and I think I stepped my game up. So I took more time with issue 3 and 4. Took the critiques, the good and the bad, and was like, okay, well, people don't like the style, they don't like this, and so, they're like, this. If you get the comments, I left the comments up there for everybody to read, just so I know as myself as a creator that I'm developing and I'm getting better with each issue. So I left the negative comments there. I didn't delete nothing. So I use that as motivation every day. I go back and I read the comments. I'm like, okay, this is what I was at issue 1. Now this is where I'm at with issue 4. And it's like a complete 180. So
it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Like with your art, like I was telling you when I saw it when we were at the actual event, like your art style is so distinct. So I mean, I can understand how some people wouldn't resonate with it, but like it's very, I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like old school paintings, like like something like my grandmother would have on her wall.
Like the old school black ones, like the Black Renaissance.
Yeah,
I
love I'm a big fan of it, man.
Like the women with umbrellas or like people playing saxophone. Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, man.
I appreciate that. But some people, yeah, like I said, some people didn't. It's not for everybody. Like I said, I took the good with the bad. So I go back and read those. Like I said, I read those comments every day just to motivate myself. Like, hey, I'm not giving up just because some people don't like the art style. Because to me, it's more than this artist. I'm telling a story, and the story, I think a lot of people would like this story. Plus, the art is getting better. So if you are into good storytelling, I think the story by itself is a good enough story to catch people's attention.
Right on, right on.
Man, we've interviewed a handful of just different world-renowned comic creators from Graham Nolan, other people that have done like inspirational characters like Bane. First off, you're one thing that a lot of those people do not have in the fact that you're not only writing your story, but you also created the look and for your character. So that's, for one, you're very talented, and that's amazing. I can't wait to look at your work. Two, one thing I remember Graham saying specifically was just like, make sure you create your stuff out of your heart and the way you do it, man. And again, the story you told me sounds amazing, and the artwork, if it's as what I'm thinking in my head with the interpretation that Otis brought to me, it sounds amazing. So I can't wait to check it out. But it's just, again, we like to give flowers here, especially to Black creators, because us being ourselves Black creators, we know how hard it is to do that. So I appreciate you as well as my brothers here for pursuing the field you're pursuing, because there's not a lot of Black comic creators in general that I've seen that I know of.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate you guys.
Yeah. And also, and keep it in that vein, what is something that you would say to either encourage or just kind of that other aspiring creators know, kind of to help them get going?
Like I said, take the good with the bad, especially the negative critiques. Take on it, build from it, grow, because nobody's perfect. Nobody, is going to draw the perfect circle. Nobody's going to draw the perfect city or whatever. So just like, a prime example, Rob Liefeld, he was booming in the 90s, and everybody, oh, he can't draw hands, he can't draw feet. Now look at him now. He's got Deadpool. He's got, he's the millionaire. He's got everybody's talking about his comics. You can love him or hate him, but he's talked about in the comic book community. So stay encouraged, and like I said, take the good with the bad, and learn to take critique and feedback. Don't give up. Don't quit. Just, if you need to cry somewhere, but come out strong with your art. So just, keep trying, keep enduring, and never give up. So
absolutely. Have some humility, and be willing to grow.
Right.
Now, one of the things that we talked about when we were at the Blurred Bash as well is like the steps towards getting proper crowdfunding set up. Would you be willing to give out some tips for that? Because you gave me a lot of great ones when we talked.
Yeah, most definitely. The first and foremost I would say is important is building up your fan base and your email list. If you don't have a fan base or email list, your Kickstarter is not going to get anywhere. I've seen too many Kickstarters, they start off even with the bare minimum $500 goal. They only reached $20, $30 because nobody knew about the Kickstarter. They just launched it and expected, oh, here's my Kickstarter, everybody's going to pledge, but nobody knew the pledge to the Kickstarter. So if you want a successful Kickstarter, what I was taught, you need at least 100 emails minus 20 to get at least $500, because out of those 100 emails that you're going to send, some people aren't going to respond. Some people are going to respond and be like, oh, I forgot. And then when you get to the actual Kickstarter, some people are going to pledge, and by the end of the pledge, the credit card is going to get denied. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot to update my payment information, so you're going to lose money. So have at least a solid 100, and then just out of that 100, just remember probably 20 to 30 of those emails aren't even going to respond to the Kickstarter. So build up an email list that people that are actually going to pledge, like coworkers, friends, family. Hey, I'm building up this comic. Hey, I'm trying to get this animation. Can I take your email? And to incite that, hey, I got this digital copy. You want this digital copy for free if you join my subscriber list. Hey, I'm giving out T-shirts, something to get the crowd going. Like, and then with the rewards, whether you do pop Funkos or T-shirts, or get the crowd excited to get something. Hey, I'm giving this exclusive poster only to my first 10 backers, just to get somebody to get the ball rolling. So some incentives, just to get people pumped up. Like, oh yeah, I want to pledge to this because I want this T-shirt, I want this poster, I want this exclusive Kickstarter, whatever the reward is going to be.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, and that's having done a Kickstarter campaign myself, that's 110% true, especially if your family members are cheap ass bastards. They will find a way to forget or block your email at the right just so when you come in. So yeah.
That's true.
Bastards, that's crazy.
It's my own family. I can say that. I can say it.
Right. And with me, I learned the stuff like on the fly. Like I'm doing this stuff by myself. So I'm Googling, I'm YouTube and stuff. So I'm on crunch time because I started the Kickstarter in November, just building it up. And I didn't know anything about email lists and so I'm Googling YouTube and stuff. I launched in December, so I had 2 months to build up a fan base. I had 2 months to get 100 emails, and out of those 100, I probably got maybe 60, and out of those 60, maybe 30 went through. So I still ended up meeting my goal, but like I said, you got to expect to lose some emails as you get through. So I'm emailing people on Facebook, Instagram, and the comic book creators. Hey, I got this Kickstarter running Facebook ads every day. So it's hard work, and especially coming from a place where I don't know anything about publishing a comic book. I don't know anything about editing, lettering, coloring. I'm all learning this stuff as I'm going. So when I did issue 1, I pretty much dropped on the ground, feet running, like I didn't even crawl. I just was thrown into the fire, and it was a learning experience, but it came out something positive. So, if I can do it without knowing anything, then the fans out there, you guys can do it too. So don't be scared to put your artwork out there. And that was another thing too. I used to be scared to put my stuff on Instagram or Facebook, think, oh, somebody's going to steal my picture or somebody's going to steal this and that. Like I didn't have Instagram for long. I just got an Instagram maybe like 2 years ago, just out of fear that somebody was going to steal my idea, or if somebody steals your idea, that's fine. Just make sure it's copywritten and in the process of trademark when you drop your comic, and you should be fine. So.
Absolutely. And I think that also helps if you have your distinct art style, like the city, a very distinct art style. Make it so that's hard for people to mimic you or imitate you also, and make sure that your stuff stands out. We all know Rob Liefeld's picture of Captain America where he has like 3 chests popping out.
Yeah, it was
hard for someone to copy that. So yeah.
The Ultimate Avengers, I think, right?
No, it was before Ultimate Avengers. I can't remember which one it was, but it's that picture where he's like standing.
It was actually, I think, this regular Captain America issue that he did, like Captain America number, whatever.
Yeah, something from the 90s. Yeah.
God, fuck him.
Kill his mic. We can't hear your mic anymore, Dad. For some reason, your mic's dead.
Yeah. Charlie has a issue with certain characters in both DC and Marvel. Anybody that is like a leader of a team.
Just two.
Just two.
Just two.
Not Superman.
Well, three.
Yeah, he has lots of. But today we're throwing flowers. Today is flowers.
Yeah.
Today is all flowers right now. All flowers.
Brought him up, and I couldn't ignore it. It was my soul.
He could have, but he chose not to. But that's okay.
I can bring it up here for you. But do you want to let people know where they can find you on social media?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh.
So that's my Instagram handle. If you guys want to hit me up, I do commissions as well too. So you can check out my artwork on the Instagram.
Word. I'm gonna follow you myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
not in person. I mean your Instagram, not follow you.
Right, you're fine.
Go to stalk you.
And that's the that's the website right there. If you guys want to purchase the comics, and I do T-shirts as well too. Actually, I just today got the high top merchandise in, so I got some T-shirts, hoodies, beanies, face masks, and stuff for high top. So
fantastic. That's fantastic. Yeah, show your love for him, of course, for our buddy Daryl. He has 24 kids and counting. He needs all the money and love he can get.
Right. If you guys want to see these links again, we'll have all his socials and links to those in the description below. This if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching everywhere else, just kind of I guess rewind it because I don't know how to put it into the description of Facebook.
I got it.
You got it. Gotcha.
Yeah.
But yeah, Daryl, thank you for coming on, man. We appreciate you
much,
again. We value you and being a Black creator. We appreciate that so much, and continue doing what you're doing. Continue to be great.
Please keep doing what you're doing. Please.
I appreciate you guys for inviting me on and getting the word out there, man. Because we definitely need more of us out there. So it's
100%.
Definitely time is coming. So
that is our goal, to not only showcase other people's work, but network with other people that are in like mind with us to all come on top, man. We want to see everybody win.
Right on.
Yes, sir. Black Wall Street or something.
Yes.
All right. Well, yeah, we can move into the next topic of the show then, I guess, right, guys?
Yeah,
sure.
Yep. Yes, sir. Yep. Daryl, did you want to stick along with us to talk about some of the boys, or are you not caught up on that one yet?
I haven't seen season 3 yet, but
we can't. Yeah, we can't get into spoilers. We can't. We don't want to spoil it for you. We don't want to spoil it for you, Dad.
But it's fine. I can be spoiled, but it's fine.
Gotcha. All right. Well, let's go ahead. I'll throw the gameplay on the screen. Usually we'll have gameplay of a random game on the screen as we're going along. Today we have turn the volume now. Superman Returns. Because I couldn't think the boys don't have like any game kind of associated with them, so like we'll just throw this game on.
Actually,
Yeah.
the wife is giving me the side eye. I don't think she wants to hear the spoilers.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't blame her because this season already has a lot of stuff. So
I can imagine.
So
But thank you again for tuning in with us, Daryl, and we'll be in contact. Seriously.
Okay, most definitely, man. I'll definitely hit you guys up too, and then I'll get you guys on social, and we can all follow each other, keep the love going. So,
yes, sir.
Brother. Thank you so much.
Most definitely. Peace and blessing, everybody.
All right. So, guys, the season of the boys. First and foremost, this season to me, I was going into it I remembered we talked about this before, how shows will have years or a couple months of gaps in between. And sometimes you'll forget motivations of characters. You'll forget characters themselves. I, for whatever reason, with this show in particular, always like snap back and just remember to pick up where I left off. And the one thing that I thought I forgot and I remembered very quickly this season is how fucking intense Homelander scenes are. This season, again, this slight spoiler alerts. Well, probably this full spoiler.
Severe. Let's go ahead and say severe spoiler alerts for all of what we've seen, all the footage so far of the boys.
For the first 3 episodes.
Also. Yeah.
So for anybody that hasn't seen it, leave, watch them, come back, watch the video, see what our thoughts on them are. But yeah, these 3 episodes immediately it starts off. You're immediately seeing, which we talked about in the trailer review, of how Homelander is becoming more and more unhinged, and the narcissism in him is becoming very much more so apparent, because you'll see it in which he gets offended that like the Deep had got a segment on the show before he did, or that other characters like Starlight are getting more attention than he is, and he just can't handle it. Down to the point where Starlight was going to threaten to reveal what happened on I can't remember the name of the flight, but a specific flight in which Homelander and Maeve let people die. At that point, he's like, all right, cool, do that. My attention and my love for people is the only thing I have left. They can either love me or fear me, and I will fuck this shit up. That's the only thing that he values now as a person at this point, and I love that. Those are just my initial takeaways of the season so far. What are your guys' initial thoughts of the season in the first 3 episodes?
I'm sorry, I started even before you said it.
No, you're good.
But yeah, I'm really enjoying this season, not just because of Homelander, but like everybody's getting a little bit more development to like their backstory, who they are. You Mother's Milk, like you're getting to see his manic depressive state that he gets into. I mean, getting to like what happened to his family, why he actually hates heroes the way he does. So I'm excited to see that. Seeing Huey's find out that he's been working with the super that just killed
the head
half.
popper.
Right. Yes, like there is no weak plot line in this season so far that I've seen, and I'm just excited to see more of it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm right there with both of y'all. I have nothing but flowers to give to this show too. And actually, I like it. They've done a really good job with the boys, where each season has been better than the one before. Because all of them are good, but they keep getting better and better. They kind of build on what was established beforehand and make it and make it work even more so, which is common for Eric Kripke, who did the first 5 seasons of Supernatural, with the best 5 seasons, basically.
The good ones.
The good ones, yeah. Before the 10th off. So, but my main takeaway, though, just to answer your question there, Dev, it would probably be just the idea of going the opposite end with Butcher, because Butcher now his issues with having to try to care for the son of his late wife, who was also the child of his sworn nemesis, and then also how far he would go to try to either exact revenge or to kind of keep the peace for people that are non-supers, where he actually takes some actual with V, what's it called? Not Compound V, but the Temp V. Yeah, the Temp V. Yeah, take some of that stuff to actually to combat them. It's almost like to become the idea of becoming what you hate in order to try and stop what you hate in a way. So I thought that was really cool, really interesting.
And then it's just to see the fact that it was very apparent that he enjoyed it. Like
yes. Because he had power. He had that taste of like, I can give back what they give to me so much.
Right. And he was using it against a super. He was beating up your boy, basically the boys' version of the Punisher, aka Gunpowder. But also, shit. It's very much so. But one thing that was different from the comic books and with this was that in the comic books, they had the power, the Temp V type stuff much earlier on. but also it didn't come at that much of a cost. In this show, what's interesting is how they have it where it actually kind of hurts. Like you can see that Butcher's like, it's not the easiest thing to do it. It's kind of when he's in the bathroom scene later on, he's like he's suffering with it too. So it's kind of, I like the idea that it's a trade-off to use the power even for a little while, like a drug essentially.
I'm not sure that's more of like him suffering or him not like knowing how to utilize the power is the best. So to me, it seemed like he was not able to control it. Is what it
part of it, I know this is from the interviews they talked about it, where they said that's where Carl Urban and Jensen Ackles were in an interview talking about that kind of a thing, how it is meant to be that there's a trade-off to using it. It's as it coming off of it, the drug. It is like coming off a drug, a real drug, where it comes it hurts you in a sense. So
gotcha. To kind of speak on one of the things you brought on earlier, one of the things that I thought was the more impressive things, and I kind of love as the show goes on, is the relationship of Homelander and Butcher. Because you see initially, and I think the first or the second episode in which Homelander goes to have a conversation with I almost called him Benny the Butcher, with Billy. And it's a thing of where they talk about it where, I can like tear you apart piece by piece, right? And he's like, yeah, fucking do it, but you won't like that because you don't want to do it that way. It's like this whole thing of where they have like a cat and mouse thing in which almost called him Benny again.
Billy, yeah, Billy.
Right. William. I'm calling him Bill. Come on, boy, Bill. Bill, like he antagonizes Homelander, and Homelander is like, all right, fuck you. Like their banter is impressive to me, and the fact that it's a thing of where he knows he can kill him. But he knows the way he thinks that he won't kill me. Like not he can't, but he won't. His like the way he thinks will let him do it.
Right. Yeah. Part of it too is that if there's a weird mutual respect, even though the two of them despise each other, and they are very much. It almost is like a alternate universe Superman and Batman against one another. Right. So I like that idea. It's very interesting, and they are very much two sides, two opposite sides of the same coin. Right. They both are bullies in their respective universes, and they do things just differently.
The thing that just makes it more crazy to me is that you've seen Homelander do like impulsive shit to where he just either murders people impulsively or like mutilates them impulsively. So like seeing somebody that like he hates with a passion and the fact he just won't let himself do it because he has to do it on his terms is really interesting to me. And that's like one of the layers that character has.
Because like the girl's like, go ahead and jump.
Oh, that's what's funny. Yeah. That's what's kind of funny.
Oh my god! It's like, but I don't want to jump anymore.
I don't want to jump anymore. Yeah.
I'm not asking you. I'm telling you, do it.
Yeah. Here's the thing. What would you do if you were in that situation? If you were on a building?
I'm jumping, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's like either I face Homelander or I jump off this building and most likely will sprain my ankles and neck.
I'm just gonna not be in that situation ever. There's not gonna be a point in time where I'm like gonna willingly jump off a building, so I won't be there.
It seemed like a thing where she was doing it for attention and she really didn't want to jump. It's what it felt like to me.
Possibly.
Because it's like, I'm like, if you're that suicidal and he's not even, it's one thing for him to talk her off a ledge, but he wasn't trying to talk her off a ledge. He's like, all right, come on. Either you're going to do it, I'm going to catch you anyway. It seemed like she just wanted the attention. And then once the news about Stormfront came out, then it was like, all right, no, I don't give a fuck if you were pretending or not. Now you're going to do it.
I mean, I have no idea. They didn't really set it up if it was just for attention or not. But she's a young person. She's a young teenager. Right. Of course, there are plenty of times when young people have suicidal thoughts, things of that nature. Yeah. And this was obviously meant to be a send up to. I'm not sure if y'all have read or seen. I'm not sure if it's actually in the movie, but All-Star Superman, they have a scene where he does the same thing with a young teenager on the side of a building where he talks her down. Basically, he doesn't grab her or even say or catch her. He just talks her down from committing suicide. And I feel like it's meant to be a homage to that, where he goes a complete opposite direction, where he doesn't actually throw her or push her off the building. He pretty much just by talking to her, convinces her to jump off, which is horrific.
Well, the thing that really makes me say it's like it's either for attention or stages, because then they say him specifically says, "You're my yearly save." Like it's a thing that he does
annual birthday save. Yeah,
right. So I'm like, either they set that up or they manipulated something. I don't know. It seemed like that to me. Like
it may have
staged at this point.
Yeah, it may have. I mean, the thing is with this show, because everything is so staged or like kind of set up, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if Vought did have to do something. It wouldn't surprise me if Vought literally, like from the jump, may have tried to convince this young girl to commit suicide for one reason or another, or made her depressed for one reason or another, or what have you, too. So,
right. And that's another great thing that we're getting to see this season too. Like, going back in time, seeing what happened with Soulja Boy in Vietnam, like, seeing how deep the inner workings of Vought have been going over the years. Like, this is probably the season I'm most excited for that they've done for this series so far. So,
Right.
Before we get into Soldier Boy, there's one character that I want to speak on because I think we all unanimously kind of agreed that she wasn't getting the best development initially. That being Starlight. She was there before and she played a role, but it felt like more she was a plot device and kind of like not important to the story beforehand. Now you get to see like her development, like you said before. She's getting a lot more development. Otis, what do you think of her character kind of now after seeing the things that she goes through and like the way she thinks and operates in the first 3 episodes?
I mean, she's trying. I mean, it's for her. I feel like her efforts are just like a constant battle with like futility because like she tries to make strides in certain areas and then Homelander, then like she does something else and then Homelander, and then does like every bit of accomplishment that she tries to get is just Homelander. And man, like especially seeing the way that 3rd episode ended with like the
I know
home lights, like oh my god, like
because it wasn't just home light, it was also the idea of, hey, remember this guy who literally, as she said, quote unquote, mouth
rape,
ape raid you.
Oh yeah, it's YouTube. I forgot.
Yeah, it's YouTube.
I forgot.
They bring him back. They bring her, and she has to say, "I forgive you." And Homelander says, "It was her idea. She wanted you back." It's like Could you imagine? If that situation, that is ridiculous. There's a glass ceiling out there, of course, and it's all kinds of mistreatment that women get. But to have a physical manifestation of Homelander doing this to you, that is a nightmare across the board for women.
That's one thing I've noticed about Homelander. This man is a psychopath. The whole making the Deep eat his squid buddy that he was sexually attracted to was. I was like, yo,
Billy.
That's one thing they do.
They
don't really do it in the most like nonchalant way, which it really doesn't matter to me. It's all right writing, but in which they introduce like a plot device and kind of call back to it like within that same episode. That one specifically being Starlight and the way she clenches her fist whenever she's like going through something that's really uncomfortable and she's fighting through it. Like they brought that back immediately after, like, you knew it was coming, but I felt like it was brought back and recalled in a great way in which like you see, like they talked about she's a little girl, how she was literally in pain physically, and then there she's like probably literally in physical and emotional pain, like sitting there having to do that.
I think also is referring to the idea of her repressing her emotions to things. Like, I mean, we've seen in past seasons how her relationship with her mother was very strained because her mother made her do all these kind of pageants and whatnot, and she didn't like the over time she kind of resented her. And I feel like it'd be something similar where it's a teapot waiting to explode, or a powder keg waiting to go off. So yeah,
that's dope. The season's dope. I want to finish up on this topic because we don't have all day with the show. The big important thing to me, the more fun thing, the thing I've been waiting for forever, Jensen Ackles Soldier Boy. Whenever that man was on screen, I wanted more of him. And I think they know that because like the first 3 episodes, they kind of like tease him in like a clip here and there. They'll talk about him, and then we finally get that 3rd episode in which you kind of see him talk a lot more. I'm like, damn, I missed him as like an actor. Like this show, like they're allowing him to be 100% unadulterated Dean Winchester. Which is just like him. We used to cuss and do all the shit that we wanted him that he did in Supernatural, but because it was like a TV show where it was like TV PG
CW, right?
Yeah, he didn't get to do as much. This one, they get to like let him be just him, and I love
just him. His intro, you gotta remember. So the best part about it is I have to give flowers to the writing. What they do is before the character's introduced, like you said, Dev, they spend the first 2 episodes building him up. They keep talking him up over and over again. And even last season, because I rewatched season 2 to kind of get refresher for this. They show statues of him throughout the episode, throughout the season. They show statues of him all over the city because he's like a Captain America kind of an iconic hero for the country. And they do set up the idea that someone killed off Mother's Milk's family. They don't say who it is specifically, but they set it up very well. And then this season, they have Mother's Milk having, like you said, his manic depressive episode having kind of an outburst at the idea of Soldier Boy. And they keep mentioning his name over and over again. And then finally, like you said, in a flashback, we see his intro. In his intro, he's holding a big ass bazooka up in the air. Like basically, obviously meant to be kind of a phallic symbol for his for everything else too. But it's like it's a perfect intro for him. And everything he said was perfect. His persona was perfect. I loved it to pieces. Yeah, it was great.
This is a perfect display of something that we talked about before, just setups and payoffs. Like, I mean, you build up this character, and like even the first 2 episodes were really just like giving the actual backstory for him. Like you
Yep.
pretty much got to know him, who he was before he ever got onto the screen, and then when he
Yep.
got on screen, he was exactly what we were ready for. So
Yeah.
It was
that
almost,
was really good execution, man.
it was similar to like the Mordor shit. Like to me, I think that's like one of the best, if not the best, ways that they introduce like a villain or a character, in which you start off with imagery, and then you kind of get into like context of people that say something about him, so you kind of get a gauge of him, and then you intro him in the best possible environment for him, and then it just showcases everything that's been hyped up about him up until that point. And they do that greatly, and I kudos to that. That was dope. I can't wait to see him in the actual flesh in the show and how he interacts with the modern day cast we have now.
Yeah, and because I don't know, I've only read a little bit of the comic books, but I don't know what the Soldier Boy does in the modern sense, or what his powers are in the modern sense. Like, it seems like he has more or less super soldier serum in the past, but I think now, based on the trailers and stuff, it seems like he has like gamma powers too after he comes back from.
It's got to be more than that, because they like the way they talk about him as if he's the same level of strength as Homelander. They're like, if this can kill him, it can kill him. So I'm like, what more does he have to his powers, or he just like that strong but can't fly? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure, because the little bit we did see of him in action, he was like, using his shield to hit guys across the field and stuff, but he was able to still get detained and caught or captured. So I'm not sure what his actual abilities are entirely.
I'm trying to see them square off. I got to see this Homelander versus Soldier Boy fight.
I mean, even supposedly in that, like they had a weapon specifically to nullify his abilities. Like they said that. So I mean,
which is probably
they set that up for him. Like that's my guess.
My guess is that it doesn't even exist. Like my guess is that they had something else that put him down, but there's nothing that can kill him. It's probably like I think, to me, in my mind, that'll be like the big reveal that they have that like depresses the cast. That no, there's no gun that can kill him. So you just got to figure out another way.
Well, one thing they were talking about too was how that Temp V is possibly a way to, because that's in the comic books too. And spoiler alert for the comic books, they have like the built-in safety device supposedly for Homelander was always Black Noir, but that seems like that might not be what they're doing with the show. But I wonder if there is a device, if there's something in mind. I wonder if Giancarlo Esposito actually has some kind of countermeasures for if everything goes to shit, I can use this against Homelander or any other suit that is going out of control.
And that was a quick thing on Black Noir. I kind of want more of him. After seeing him get showcased in the animated, the Diabolical series, in that last anthology part with him and Homelander's like early origins, he became a very interesting character to me. And I don't really know how I feel about them kind of making him look kind of bitchy in that flashback where he's just like thirsty for it. Which maybe I just need to see more of him and see more of the development and how he transitioned from that to
is that what you got from
how he is now. Not really like an attention whore, but like he wanted to be showcased. It felt kind of whiny a little bit.
No, it was more so that like he wanted to let people know that he is the first Black superhero.
Yeah, he's like, no one sees his face. No one ever sees his face. He never talks. He's always quiet. Yeah, he's like, I shouldn't, especially at the time. It was like in the 70s too.
Well, it felt whiny in a sense of like the way he was going about it. It was like he was like begging and pleading, and I'm like, which is cool, but like from what I saw of that character up until this point, he just seemed like so like, I don't know, he's more stoic and aggressive and like cool and nonchalant. So to go from seeing that to seeing him like begging and pleading, I'm like, it makes sense. It's the early on part of the character, so probably
30 years ago
he's different. But I'm like, damn, is it 30? That was like World War II.
Well,
damn near.
So I mean, actually, no, it's like what 50? I mean, how many years is that? So if it's 72, 73, if it's meant to be in Vietnam.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So I don't know. I think is it 2020 in that universe?
Yeah. So I guess 40.
He's old as shit. He's old as fuck.
Yeah. 40, 50 years. Yeah.
They don't really they yet have kind of gotten to like what his abilities actually are outside of like him regenerating fast or like
Well, what's interesting too is it shows. I'm not sure if you remember in season 2, there's a part where, I guess this is what it's meant to be. That there's a part where Maeve like pulls his mask back and then shoves an almond joy into his mouth to get him to like, because he has a tree nut allergy, and she does that to save Starlight real quick. And when she pulls the mask back, you see he has like scar tissue on his face. You see he has a black face first of all, and you see he has scar tissue on his face too. And based off of the actual scars he gets in that Vietnam flashback, it seems like, this is very much the same guy, and that's when he got those scars. It's from that accident, that incident there. So I'm guessing it's meant to be, this is the same person over time. I mean, he has gotten more stoic because of what happened to him then.
I mean,
I'm not sure.
It looks like he literally can't talk anymore. Like it,
That's what I'm thinking. He can't talk anymore.
He's got like shrapnel in his throat or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm waiting for them to kill. I feel like they're gonna kill A-Train in the worst possible way. Either that, or he's gonna kill himself with running again, because they're doing this whole setup of him not finding himself, and they're slowly making him feel like he needs to speak out for his community and shit like that. So
he's giving him the typical redemption arc before potentially getting killed off. I can see
getting killed. Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. So what are they gonna do for him? And then, man, Homelander, bro. I keep saying it, but like he is just so like whenever I see him in a scene, I just don't know if he's gonna murder somebody. And if it's gonna
oftentimes he does. That's the best part about it. Is that you don't know. It's just it's a constant tension with him around. He could murder everybody.
Pretty much just like, okay, how much screen time has this person had? So they might not die to Homelander. That's
right.
pretty much the rule of thumb.
Right. And
especially with that A-Train scene in which he like whispered. I'm like, nigga, why would you? You know this nigga's powers. Why are you whispering behind this man's back?
Yeah,
like, the fuck you say? I'm like,
that was so well directed too, because he's like way in the foreground. He just barely says "f you," and he all the way in the background. You see him turn around like, right on time, right on cue.
Right. Like I don't think I even heard it. That's how low it was. I didn't as an audience. Maybe you've had subtitles on, or maybe you heard it if the volume was up. I didn't hear him say anything. It was that low. And he's like, "The fuck did you say to me?"
Yeah, it was perfect.
And then the Deep. I was like, any episode him and the Deep are in. I'm like, Homelander's about to murder you and massacre you in the worst way.
I think the Deep, out of all these characters around the Homelander, especially, he's by far the biggest bitch as far as like doing nothing and just like taking it all on the chin. By far.
I mean,
Bootleg Ryan Reynolds.
Are you going to like talk back to Homelander though? Like,
no, you can't.
Yeah,
you can't. But it just seems like, well, I guess maybe I'll put it this way. I think it feels like Homelander bitches him the most.
Yeah, he just bullies him all the time.
Yeah,
he bullies him.
That's a target for Homelander for sure. Like he
he definitely is.
It's wild. But that's those are all the big points I have to say about the show so far. These first 3 episodes. Do you guys have any closing remarks?
Real quick, I want to say one thing. Kimiko, Kimiko is awesome. She's the female on the boys. I just seen her. She's dope as hell. She's beautiful as hell. And I love when she breaks Huey's arm. They're like, I need you to snap my arm so I can do this scene.
The little thing when she cut off and like you saw that she could sing in real life. It was like, oh, that was nice.
That was great too. That she actually can sing in real life. That was great. Another shout out to another wonderful lady in the show is I guess her real name is Nadia. They call her the Congresswoman. Head popper. And she was great. The scene that she had with her boy Tony, where that scene where where she has to like look at something to blow it up with her eyes, and he's like trying to cover her eyes up, and he gets his hand blown up, and he gets his jaw messed up. That was a great scene too. It's a great show all around. Great show.
Yeah, she definitely brings a new meaning to big things popping and little things stopping.
If you like it,
we have to end on that line. On that line right there, we have to end on that right there. That lyric.
We got a copyright claim. You don't do T.I. up here. You know I'm from the South. I fuck with T.I. heavy. Next thing we're gonna get into, we're going to be watching something that we've all seen some form of. That this is pre-warning.
Call it something. It's being very generous. Call it something.
Normally, we are having a devil's advocate for anything we talk about. Usually, even if 2 out of the 3 of us don't like it, this is not that. We hate this shit with the passion. So be prepared. This is gonna probably get clipped and put on the TikTok at some point. Because this is just that bad. Let me go ahead and share the video.
You're being very generous even showing this.
I'm trying to save all the hate for when the actual video plays.
All right.
So we're not going to tell people what it is until it's on?
Nope.
There's no warning. We apologize.
I apologize for this, but here we go.
30 other rooms in this place to hook up.
Mom, I swear we were just talking.
Thanks.
Harry, we have a drink together?
Right, sorry.
Oh, somebody broke into the good stuff. Your dad gonna be okay with that?
I don't think he'll miss it. It's questionable choices.
I just realized that.
Everybody relax. I got this.
Stop.
Turner, it's your father. He's dead.
His name is Turner?
I have to ask you.
We'll get into that. I'll get into it. That's one of the things I hate. So I was talking about
Don't
earlier.
have to keep the secret any longer. Must be a relief.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. Relief.
My father believed that each of us could become a light and bring a new dawn to Gotham.
I fucking hate
Can't
his
imagine
voice so
what you
much.
must be going through. I am gonna find who did this.
It's just the latest in an epidemic of violence since the demise of the Dark Knight.
To wonder who will protect
Yes,
Gotham.
only
now
way
that
that he can
Batman
show
is
anger is
dead.
by throwing things. Yes.
We have 3 suspects in
with
custody.
bad acting.
What is with this emo shit right now? This is emo to be emo for no reason.
They're all 19. They couldn't
Like-
find 121.
Like-
museum.
At least Raven from Titan has an excuse because she's like
You like the
a demon.
baby powder they threw on their faces to like make them like brighter.
I tried the truth. Are you really the Joker's
Why is
daughter?
Cass in this? Why they put a Cass in this?
I would like to speak with my legal counsel.
Castiel's the only thing I was happy about during this whole
That's what I was
time.
about to say. The one positive is Castiel, but
I
I'm
think
also
they
sad.
are
for him.
they
beyond
killed
the
my dad
legal
because I
level
wanted
of
his
angst
money?
that you can have into something. Like,
Sorry.
Yes.
Oh, look.
Why is
That's the turtleneck.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the same thing. They're
One
trying to
last
make him look
thing.
like mini Bruce Wayne with
If
the
we're
turtleneck.
innocent. Time to pick a side.
What the hell are you doing?
I hate the music too. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think the music's terrible choice.
working.
You calling this music? Yes, sir.
I don't like the song period with this.
I don't know this music at all.
It feels like Riptide. It's like you don't use a song like that. For crazy.
Just noise.
He's in
Music.
They all are. You just made my job easier.
Who the hell are you?
like
Carrie Kelly?
Takes mask off.
you.
right, like in the middle of the actual thing that they're.
knew my
What was the point of wearing it in the first
I
place?
became his eyes and ears.
There is no point.
Called me his little Robin.
It was like a bad version of Gadget from Teen Titans.
Is
Or
that yeah?
Gizmo.
Prove we're not killers by killing someone. We have to stick together, find who really killed my dad, and clear our names. Because we all deserve
Also,
justice.
the editing business is pretty trash. I ain't gonna lie to you.
This
Like,
is
this part's cool, but it seems like two different trailers.
They'll be
The
looking
editing
for us
is
in every
different.
alley, every dark corner of the city.
This looks more like a
There's one thing they
90s
don't have.
music video.
Right.
Yeah, but they're not sure.
It's a long ass fucking trailer.
A bat cave.
It's over 3 minutes. Right?
What is with that Party City map?
Like,
Yeah, that's horrible.
Is that a fucking like that's like a horse and motorsports steering wheel?
Hey, tell me, you brought the Batmobile, right?
No. My mom's car. Gonna be a tight squeeze. I call shotgun!
Take that
Terrible.
screen.
Terrible. Again, also, thanks for making us watch it a second time, Dev, you bastard.
No,
Oh, this didn't even watch it all the way through before.
Oh, wish I would have stayed at the 15 seconds. Why did we do this? Why?
Yeah,
did we do
why?
this?
Why? So,
I'll let you start, Otis. Not Otis, but Ethan. Go ahead.
no, you hit my the one positive about that trailer was Castiel, even though that's also a negative because I feel bad for him being in this. I mean, if he's that hurt up for money, I'll let you borrow some money, but I'll send you some. I'll set up a Patreon, whatever. That is by far
You
the
said you're
only.
giving out money. Give me some
Like,
shit first.
like we just set up a GoFundMe. Like we just got all the info on how to set up a GoFundMe. Let's
Daryl
go
can help you.
fast.
Daryl can help you, Castiel. We got your back. We got your back.
First and foremost, I want to say I am a fan of trying to be innovative and create new characters to some extent.
Sure.
But this is a fucking failed opportunity for them to coincide this show with the release of the game, which it seemed like they're trying to do.
Yeah,
They're definitely.
But instead of using 4 of the characters that don't get a lot of attention in any media outside of the comics, they decide to create the character of Turner. Turner does not exist in anything. He's not
I never
in a comic,
heard that.
not in a game. He's supposed to be a bootleg version of Damian. I'm like, why the fuck don't you just use Damian at that point then? If you're going to make
Damian.
a biological son of Batman
Mhm.
and then watch him, I swear to God, if they make him the son of Talia, I'm going to be pissed. Because at that point, you could have just fucking used Damian
Yeah.
at that point.
I agree. I honestly, here's the thing though. Watching this trailer, nothing at all even seems remotely Batman or actual Gotham-esque. Nothing seems canon. Like as Otis said before, we were talking about the podcast for Batman Unburied. Why are they bothering to even call this Batman? Because it clearly isn't. It could have been something else. This very much seems like that wasn't Harvey Bullock, played by Castiel. He says it's Harvey. That's not Harvey Bullock.
Harvey
Turner isn't Batman.
Supposed to be Harvey Dent or Bullock.
I imagine it's a cop coming to the door, so wouldn't be Harvey Dent.
Yeah, it's probably Bullock.
Probably
Yeah,
Harvey
it
Harvey
feels
Bullock.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought
Harvey
they
Bullock.
said Dent.
Did they say Dent?
I thought
That makes
they
even
said-
less sense. Why would the district attorney You're working with the cops that come to tell.
We're in a cop fucking trench
We're in a
coat.
cop. Yeah, it makes this.
I mean, I thought he just like used the same trench coat that he had from
That's what it looked like. It literally looked. I was gonna say that. It looked the same
actually,
fucking
it
trench
probably
coat
was from
Supernatural.
Supernatural. Yeah. But
I think I love
nothing
that
about
trench
this
coat.
makes sense though. And I don't even know
The worst
like,
thing.
who were those people?
who were those random kids, random ass
So
kids.
the girl in the goggles was supposed to
Carrie
be
Kelly.
Carrie Kelly.
Yeah.
For
That's
people
the
that
one
do not
canon
know,
thing.
I don't give a fuck about them recasting as being black. The thing that irritates me is that Carrie Kelly is a character in the distant future in the Batman Returns situation, in which
Yeah,
he's
he's
Robin in like
50 or
when
60.
Batman's old as shit.
Mhm.
Which I'm like, okay, I can,
Yeah.
I'll eat that. I'll eat the fact that you're taking a character from the future and bringing it in the past. You're trying something new. And then they proceed to go grab Joker's daughter, another character that is very niche, and I think it was in maybe like 1 to 2 runs, if not one arc of the shit. And then they proceed to go grab Stephanie Brown, the spoiler, who's another. I'm cool with you trying to do something new and be niche. Like again, I love Suicide Squad and what they did with that.
Weird having Stephanie Brown but not Damian. Aren't they a thing?
Were they?
So I thought it
I
was
thought it was
Tim.
Tim. Yeah,
It was
Tim.
Tim,
and Stephanie.
okay.
Yeah.
Tim.
It was one of the Robins.
Yeah. So I'm like, you missed the opera. I think Barbara's supposed to be there, but instead of just using the cast of the characters of
game?
Gotham Knights from the game, which would have been interesting, people would have watched it.
People would have wanted that. Yeah, it makes sense.
I would have, even if it was a shitty CW show, I would have watched it just for that. I would have
watched it just for Red Hood, honestly. Literally
Yeah, actually, yeah. Why
Red
not?
Hood.
Yeah, actually, if you can actually get it, people would love to see an actual modern version of Red Hood actually on the screen.
I mean, we kind of
Voice
got that with
Jason
Titans, but
Todd.
it was pretty bad.
Oh
You're
no, that's
right.
not
You're
Jason
right.
Todd. That's
You're-
not Jason
you're
Todd.
right.
Don't do that. Don't compare the real.
But I still
Jason
watched
Todd
it though.
to that
I ain't
kid.
gonna lie, I watched the whole season just because he was there. I watched it
didn't.
like a
Yeah,
motherfucker.
but
I did.
that is
I
not
did.
Jason Todd.
I did.
No, I didn't.
Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
man, that's not.
But I agree with you. It was a wasted ass opportunity for so many reasons because they chose not to. They actually have it right there in the game. They actually have the 4 that they chose, and they chose not to use them at all. They chose to invent a new character who was terrible. Turner, what the hell is this? And here's another thing too. Let's just go ahead and aside from all the actual ideas in the world of in canon for Gotham and Batman and DC Comics, you should at least still hire actors that can act, that know how to read scripts and emote.
You're talking about
Turner
the
kids.
CW. They don't require that.
I won't judge them on acting until I see
I
the
will.
show. The trailer looked bad, but that could be because of the editing. It could be
I
out of
will. I will
context.
judge them.
Like,
Granted,
we're
it
talking
probably
about
will
the
be.
same company that casted Ruby Rose for anything.
Well, yeah, for a little while, they fired her. They fired her halfway through the first season, just for to make that clear.
Granted, I will say the CW has had some actors in it that I think were pretty good.
Of course, Jensen Ackles.
Jensen Ackles. I like the dude that played.
But then they casted Jared Padalecki as Walker Texas Ranger.
Well, let's not.
Which
We can ignore
I
that.
never watched that. I heard that was really bad. Though.
It's like a 1.01 out of. But it's,
he played? I'm gonna say Jimmy Carter, but the dude that played
Jimmy
Jimmy.
Carter.
He played. What's Jimmy's last name? for
Mr.
Superman?
President.
Jimmy Olsen.
Jimmy Olsen. I like that dude as an actor. Granted,
Oh, he was
shit the
eggs
bed
in,
in Mortal
True
Kombat. But I like.
Yeah, he wasn't that.
Yeah,
Wait,
I like him
who
as an
was
actor. I've seen him in
Mortal
other
Kombat?
stuff.
Oh my
He was
God.
Jax.
He was Jax. He was the one brother.
That
same
guy,
dude.
That guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
you
the
talking
one
about
brother.
in Supergirl? Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
Oh
seen-
God.
He's one of the
He's in
only bright
one.
spots about that show to me, and I've seen him in other stuff. I like him as an actor.
Bright
I even like
spots
the
in
dude
that
that played he played Black Lightning. I liked him as an actor. I've seen him in something else. I forgot what the show
Yeah, he's a
was.
good actor. The guy,
So they
yeah,
have,
the
like,
main-
good
the lead of
actors.
Black
Isn't
Knight,
he
he's a
the
good
Young and the
actor.
Restless?
No, it was some like southern like rom-com show. I ain't gonna lie, I like the show. I watched the whole thing. I can't remember the name of it now though.
He's
it was
a
like
good
in some
actor. He's a
southern
good
town
actor.
in the little.
Yeah.
It was cool. Sometimes I like cheesy shit like that.
I'll give you that.
But they have decent actors here and there, but the screenplays are so fucking bad and the stories are so fucking bad.
Yeah.
I'm just like, why? Why the
Like-
fuck are you deciding? I can't. It's
Put 2 Q's in the word fuck. But
again, I'm biased. I grew up a DC fanboy, so I have a lot more intense feelings about them.
Like, what did you
missing
expect from the
opportunities.
people that gave us Savitar, bro?
That's why Avatar? God damn.
It was
Flash
crazy.
season-
I forgot
Flash
who that
season-
was for a second. I thought it was like a
Flash
lizard character from Mortal Kombat at first. And I was like, what the
No,
fuck?
we're talking about
Like,
Barry
yeah.
with the bang,
Barry
bro.
Allen.
The Bayang. The Bayang. Oh my god.
But that's also the exact same thing. Oh, it's like, what do you expect? CW, they only have one bed and it's for shitting. That's it. So they can't. They refuse to put quality out there. Those days are long.
The crazy
gone.
thing is, all these, like, you look at all the streaming platforms from HBO to Disney to
Amazon
Prime, all these live action shows, the production quality is fucking immaculate.
It's going
Say
up.
anything you want about Obi-Wan Kenobi, but the one thing you cannot say about that show does not look fucking amazing. The production value of that show is amazing. It looks like an extended movie.
Right.
All these other streaming platforms are stepping up their game. What CW needs to do is stop trying to fucking like they're treating TV like 50 Cent treated when he first got in the rap game, where he's just spamming out multiple mixtapes to try to corner the market. Cut all those fucking shows down, get 1 to 2, make those 1 to 2 as best as you can. That way, one, you're not spreading your money thin. And try it again, I guess. If not, just stop. Like,
That's never gonna
try your
happen,
best
though.
to make it good, or just stop. I'm tired of the mediocrity.
You're not wrong in anything you're
thing is,
saying.
like,
but
yeah,
it's
you're
not gonna
not
happen.
wrong, but like they have time slots that they have to fill. It's not like you're like it's not like a YouTube channel where they can post content and no, like they have time slots they have to fill.
Yeah, and they also have orders. They have to fill typically 22 to 24 episodes per season per show.
Crazy.
Which is crazy.
They actually really can't play their reruns, because as soon as their reruns are up, they're going to either Netflix or HBO Max.
Depending on the contract. So yeah, their hands are tied. That being said, though, you still could put better effort into these things, because I think what it is too is they're putting, because they have, like, Jeff Johns and other actual capable writers. Greg Berlanti, who actually knows how to write. They have capable people there, but I feel like they're getting weird studio notes. And
I think on top of that, it's the whoever directs these shows is like, fire all of them, right?
Yeah.
Every single person that has ever directed for you after what year did season 3 of Arrow come out? But yeah, all those people, fire them. Fire all of them.
And that was a long time ago. That's like 2000 10 maybe?
I can't even remember.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I talked about it, like the thing with Jeff Johns earlier. Jeff Johns has written one of my favorite storylines of a character ever, being the Blackest Night run in Green Lantern. He's clearly capable of being a great writer, because he's written a million comic book things. But granted, I think you talked about it before, TV versus comics, different ball game. But even then, it just seems like these stories are very there's no depth to them at all. They're very A, B, C, D. We're done. There's no depth. The twists are very predictable. Granted, being nerds, we're probably able to anticipate a story a lot more than the average audience. Even still, but it seems like there's no trying and making things complex.
They don't have to, because the thing is, their fan base still there.
That's what I was going to bring up. The fan base
that will turn on that channel just because that's on.
Right. So that's what I was wondering about. Who is this show? Because it seems clearly with the leads all are, like, I would say at max they are 20 years old.
They're probably old as hell, honestly, bro.
They may be
35 and just look that young.
They may look that young, but it's clearly this show is aimed at a very young demographic. I'd say like 13 to 18.
Yeah, like max. Only adolescents can handle that much angst. So I'm pretty sure it's for them.
And seriously, and that's not even a joke. It's like,
dude, I'm 22. It wasn't that long ago when I was 18. I met Otis before I was 18, and even then, I wouldn't I can take that level of fucking fuckery.
Right.
That's I don't know.
There were 17 too many hair flips in that trailer for me to be able to handle that. This.
Yeah,
that shit looked like the cast of a nightmare movie from like one of the bad Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
Yeah, it looked from the cast of
Dream
what was that? No, what was that? Valentine's horror movie in 3D.
Oh yeah,
My Bloody Valentine.
My Bloody Valentine. in like 3D or whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even those like have better production value than this. It looked. The problem was, you mentioned the directing. It looked very cheap. It looked like it was just again, I mentioned the whole music video because it didn't seem like it had any real actual stakes or any actual grit to it. This is supposed to be Gotham, and it seems like it's a neon like a bad episode of Euphoria.
Like,
there are too many bright scenes in that trailer.
A lot of bright weird neon
as an
scenes.
editor, I know how hard it is and like different things with that. It felt like two different things jammed into one, because the start you have like 2 full minutes of just like cuts of the show, and then randomly near the end you throw in all the title screen things in which like you're trying to build anticipation and give details about the show. You can't give me that 2 minutes into a trailer, because by that point, like Otis, I probably stopped fucking watching the trailer by that point. Why are you trying to tell me what this is about 2 minutes into a trailer?
Right.
First off, it's a 3-minute trailer. If you're not Marvel, if you're not an MCU movie, there should be no reason for you to have a 3-minute trailer, because you know people are not guaranteed to watch the trailer, let alone the actual movie itself.
Yeah.
And I'm not even like an editor on that level. Those dudes have probably been editing for fucking decades plus and getting paid to do that shit. But even me, like,
you're exactly right. They've been editing for decades and still use the same materials that they did decades ago.
Bad. Yeah. That's a bad thing. Also, I'm curious about this. Like, oftentimes, what you're supposed to, because it's a trailer house. They always they outsource these trailers. The studios, they outsource the trailer teams to. They have different teams that don't work within the studio to make these trailers, which means they're supposed to be really, really good at doing these type of things. So I'm wondering if this is the best they could cut from the footage they had. How bad is the show? Because this is supposed to be good. This is supposed to be like makes you want to watch the show, and it was this bad.
Like these are the best cuts.
This is the best. This is the best cuts. This is the best few minutes they had. So how
highlight
bad
action scenes, the highlight dramatic scenes.
Right.
Oh God.
Right. Yeah, that's saying a lot.
I burnt the clip. I unloaded the clip on this one, so I'm kind of, I don't really have anything else to say about it. I know it's gonna be shitty. I may watch like the first 10 minutes of the first episode just to verify how shitty it is. Yeah, I'll take that bullet for us. Just
so because you didn't watch all of Cowboy Bebop, right?
No, I didn't watch
show. The live action show.
Oh no.
Yeah,
no,
so Otis and I did. We had a deal. We had a deal. We're gonna watch that show and review it. But you didn't watch the whole show, so now you have to watch
one episode. And said,
you had to watch You had to watch at least one episode of this show because you didn't watch, because you bowed out on Cowboy Bebop. That's the deal.
Cool. Yeah, I'll carry that weight.
Oh God. So you are not indeed fearless. I'm just gonna leave that one there.
Oh my God, this shit killed me. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. We're at time, guys.
Also, we were supposed to do this. Is supposed to be a flower. It's supposed to be like a sandwich of like positive and negative and positive, but we ended up being like a weird, like all positive on top and then like a shit on the bottom. I'm not sure what kind of souffle that is, but it's not good.
I still fuck with Castiel. I'm rewatching Supernatural now, so I'm ready to see him in something good again.
Not this. Look about this. The leads from Supernatural. One of them went on and did Walker Texas Ranger, right? That's our boy Sam. One of them went on and did this show, Gotham. Ooh. And then one of them went on and did.
Hey, we literally just talked about all three of them in the episode. Yeah.
What's crazy is that like I like Padalecki.
I do too. He's all right.
I've seen him in
no beef.
The bad Friday the 13th movie in there. I thought he was one of the best parts, probably the best part of it outside of Jason Voorhees himself. Mm-hmm. Why do you keep taking these shitty roles, bro? People love you. You have the
the thing is, I think he's best in roles where he doesn't have to talk a lot.
I agree. He does play the stoic better, which is fine. It's Keanu Reeves. He's basically an up and coming Keanu Reeves in a way. Let him do that. Let him be let that be his lane. Because the whole point was him and Dean. Dean was the mouth and kind of the charm, and he was supposed to be kind of the more stoic one.
He was the hand.
I'm trying to make this nigga act like Will Smith. I'm like, stop making him talk so fucking much.
No,
he's talking too much.
It's not his lane.
And screaming and saying like, now he's screaming and shit. I'm like, no, I don't know.
Yeah.
How many times do you think he said Dean in those 15 seasons? Just out of curiosity.
Do a mash. Do a mashup. Somebody do a mash cut of all of them.
If I had the
take a
time,
long
I'd do
time
it.
to
If I
do
had
it.
the time.
It take a long. Can you imagine how long that would take to do? Can you imagine?
Literally, now that I'm rewatching this show, I was low-key still thinking like I'm gonna just like, all right, episode 1, 240 something, episode 3, and just like when I'm done with the show again, just redo it. If I had the time, I low-key want to do that when I got time.
Or let me ask you this: Would you rather do a mashup cut of how many times Sam yells "ding" or how many times Butcher yells the C word in the
Oh
boys?
God.
Oh, God. I've only ever heard that used by either like British people or like white people.
British,
and sometimes a combination of the two.
Yeah.
So seeing him, like hearing that so much, I'm like, man,
yeah.
It makes me cringe. I'm like, oh man, you really said that? That's crazy.
Yeah, but it's not as over the top wrong to say in Britain as it is here. Like it's a different thing. It's more common in a way.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I
he says it
mean,
a lot.
like,
He used that.
also calling people a twat isn't like really that disrespectful in Britain either. So
Yeah, it's a different
That's
thing.
wild.
Yeah, he uses
Even
the
you just
C
say
word
that,
like
you
right.
feel,
It's like, okay.
Let's imagine a spitball. I was like,
It's like you cursing. Okay.
yeah. We said no time. We said no time. It was good stuff,
guys,
man. It was
do
fun.
you have
That
any
was so
closing
fun.
remarks before we like close this shit out?
Oh, this glad I said my stuff.
On
Anything.
Gotham Knights.
Yeah.
I have nothing to say. I've done enough Warner Brothers / CW bashing. I'm sure they're gonna give me another reason soon. So I'm just gonna save it for the next one.
Yeah.
Granted,
Oh, right.
Warner Brothers has a W now. Multiverse is like it's gonna be fire. From what I've seen of people playing the alpha.
I mean, their game quality has always been there. Like, I mean, we've seen what they've done with the Batman stuff. You
Shadow
now
Mordor.
going into Shadow of Mordor. That new Wonder Woman game coming out for them looks crazy.
I haven't seen that Wonder Woman game. I need to.
Is there gameplay out of that already?
Is that game footage?
I mean, there's no gameplay for it. It's like they're incorporating the Nemesis system into that.
Oh, they're doing that. Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be Shadow of Mordor, but Wonder Woman, pretty much.
Right.
I didn't know they used the Nemesis system in that. That's pretty interesting.
I hope she can fly. If she can fly, and that's gonna be fire.
Yeah, or at least give her
their flight mechanics are gonna be hard.
That's fine. That's interesting.
But yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, because it's funny because Gotham Knight. I know I have my piece, but real quick, the game Gotham Knight and the show are both kind of getting some flack. People have been kind of expressing some concerns over the game too. So it's a weird comparison. That both these are kind of having some.
The game to me, there's worry because it looked kind of stiff a little bit, and certain mechanics I don't agree with. But I have more hope now that one, it got pushed back a little bit, and then two, now that it's only next gen, I'm thinking maybe that'll subside some of the issues possibly.
Sure.
I don't know. We'll see.
Sure.
I have hope for it because I've wanted this game or a game like this for a while now.
Right.
Which there's not even like any guarantee that's gonna be 4-person co-op because that hasn't been confirmed by anybody.
No, it's just that the 2-person co-op has been confirmed vehemently, but the 4-person it was never officially confirmed.
The only thing I've seen is an article written by Game Informer, GameSpot, I think, which they're a pretty credible source when it comes to articles like that. And that was just them saying why there should be 4-person co-op. Right. So there's been no source confirming that yet.
There's no source. Yeah, I agree. Fair enough. And real quick, to say games, I know Otis is going to buy Final Fantasy 16. I'm going to put in his house and play it when it comes out. So,
yeah, 16. I mean, their trailer came out for I think that was 2 days ago.
It was a Thursday, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it looks amazing. I mean, they took the combat from Final Fantasy 15 and then incorporated to Knights. It's like Demon Souls, but faster pace, essentially.
Yeah, much faster. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, you like it, Dev. You probably like it too.
Yeah, so that'll be my first Final Fantasy game if I do get it. So I'll probably check it out.
Wow, man, there's so many devs. I know we were over time as hell, but who cares? Dev's blind spots amaze me. I love it because those are things we're gonna start. So officially, we're gonna do this. Officially, we'll have Dev play either a Resident Evil game or a Final Fantasy game because those are both his massive blind spots in like video game history. He hasn't touched.
That was like more Nintendo stuff, right?
No, I mean, Final Fantasy is been on everything. Like, if there is a console that existed, there's been a Final Fantasy game on it.
It started on Nintendo. Yeah, you're right, Dev. But then it went over to Super Nintendo, and then it went to PlayStation. And then it went to Xbox.
It was never on Sega Genesis.
It was never on Genesis, and it was never on GameCube or Xbox or GameCube or N64. But
there were a few Final Fantasy games on GameCube. They weren't like the main numbered ones.
Oh, okay.
Like Final Fantasy, I believe Fantasy Tactics was on GameCube.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's right. But I know they had the massive falling out between Square Enix and them during the N64 era. That's what whole. Yeah. Anyways, sorry about that.
No, you're good. Yeah, that's about everything I have to say. We got a lot of more content coming. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you guys for supporting us up to this point, and hopefully we can get your continued support going forward. This has been another episode of the Then and Now podcast, greatest podcast in the world, universe, and multiverse. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week.
Carrie Kelly.
Warner Brothers. Another one.
And another one. Oh, another one.
Houdini.